Well, you've gotten yourself a Tessel and you want to go and put a web server on it to do some cool IoT things, but you come over here to the Tessel 2 documentation site and you're like, oh my God, really? We're going to go and like hit up HTTP directly and create a server and and you go down here to where they're actually putting in some real code that actually does some cool stuff. Like, oh my God, I'm going to like parse URLs directly. This is no bueno. This is not what I want to do when it came to building out a server. What I really want to do is put up my cool Vue app. And I want to have like an Express or a Koa server on there that makes it really easy to go and build out an API that I can connect to with my Vue code. So let's go and have a look at this gist that I put up that basically walks you through how to do exactly that. So it starts with building out a Vue CLI app. So let's do that. I'm just going to take the defaults and I'm going to change directory to that. And then bring up VS Code. All right. So let me just start off by serving it up just so you can see nothing special going on here. Cool, right? Just regular old Vue app. Okay, so what's next step? Next step is to go and add an npm-rc file. And we'll go and edit that in VS Code. What this is allowing us to do is to have the require Tessel include come in correctly when you're on the device. I think that's actually stored globally, so that's what this is getting us to do. Next thing we want to do is add an ignore file. This basically just supersedes anything in the directory that might tell us to ignore node modules. Because we definitely want node modules, we just don't want all of them. After that, we want a Tessel include file, and that basically tells Tessel that we want to have some additional files, and in this case, they're the files in the dist directory. And that's what's going to be created when you do a yarn build or an npm build. And finally, we actually need a server. So let's go over here, let's create that file, index.js, plop in the server code, make this font size a little bit smaller so we can start to see things. There we go, something like that, great. Now you have to bring in Express, so let's yarn add that. Now let's have a walk through this. So first thing we're going to want to do is create the Express server, and then we're going to want to try and require Tessel. And we're going to do that in a try-catch block because normally if you didn't have it, it would just return, it would just blow up. So we want to have it so that if Tessel's around, then it's set. If Tessel's not around, that means that we're running locally, and so it would not be set. And then here's the very important part. This is going to tell us, this is going to serve out / as on dist. So anything like in there as index.html or in the bundle or anything else, that's what this is actually the web server part of it. And then we got to listen somewhere. And if we're on the Tessel, we're going to listen on port 80. And if we're anywhere else, we're going to go on port 8080. We're also going to check to see if we're on Tessel so that we can give a nice little console message that says where we're actually running on, right? You don't know the IP of the Tessel a priori. So we're going to do this Tessel network Wi-Fi connection, which is going to have a callback, and that callback is going to give us the settings, and that we're just going to say, hey, we're running on that IP address. And because we're running on port 80 on that IP address, we're not going to have to put the port postfix on there. Locally, we're going to do it on 8080. So let's save that out. And now I've seen that we can do yarn serve in there. Let's actually do that yarn build. And that's created our dist directory. So let's have a look at that. It's got index.html, CSS, a fave icon, makes it really nice. And now let's go and do a node index.js. That's going to run it locally. So we're going to get that console message with port 8080. Click on that and we can see, wow, cool, we've got a Vue app. And then finally, let's go back to our instructions. We've done everything in here. We've added the Express, we've done the yarn build, and now it's time to do the t2 run index.js. t2 run index.js. All right, now we're running, and I'm going to right click on this. And boom, now we've got our Tessel app, our Vue app running on a Tessel 2. Okay, in the next video, we're going to show how to connect a micro servo to this and without the companion daughter board, and get something that actually uses some of the IoT functionality of the Tesla 2 in conjunction with your View app.